I would like to introduce Terry DeBrick.
I'm reminded of a quote that's in my room, and it says, "Don't let the influence of your environment be the reason you lose faith within your dreams." Everyone's journey towards success is different. When you start to feel like your goals are within your reach, never forget why you started. Good things come to those who have pure intentions. And what I got from that was, don't let the things you experience and your surroundings blind you from your big picture. Everyone runs their own marathon. Our personal journey is what makes our testimony so unique and influential to others. It's almost like using a teachable when you think about using your story to inspire someone else. I grew up in a small town called Farmville, about 15 to 20 minutes down the road, to a deaf mother and father. Growing up, I got a daily look at how tough it is for people with disabilities to make ends meet and get jobs. Constantly seeing my mom struggle to have a consistent income, car gear, repossessing, lights being off sometimes, it seemed as if I was born into adversity. When things got too tough, my mom made the decision that it was best for me to go live with my aunt and my grandma, although she was still around. I was always the heavy-set kid playing sports growing up. The kids respected me because of how hard I went in anything that I did. I always had the mindset that I could excel in anything and be great at anything that I really wanted to do. But most importantly, I always loved helping people. Fast forward to 2012. I began a journey that manifested into something that I never would have imagined. I remember being 295 pounds at the end of my 8th grade year. On June 15, 2012, I remember this exact day because this was a turning point in my life. I was in the room, scrolling through YouTube, and I happened to come across a speech by a guy named Eric Thomas. I'm sure many of you have heard, but he said, "When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful." To this day, that saying still resonates in my soul. I remember being at my computer crying. I'm talking about bawling my eyes out. Like, man, I felt like I was on my 600 pound, like, just like, God, man, I got to lose this weight. But I feel like that was the day that I decided to go on my weight loss journey. My aunt got me a membership at a gym that's called Fitness Connection, not too far from me. 5 days out of the summer, I would get up at 5 to 6 a.m. and run, go to Fitness Connections for 5 to 6 hours a day and work out, and then go back in the evening and play pickup. During the school year, I would work out before school and go to Fitness Connection after cross country or basketball practice. My freshman year, I was still heavy set, but I made the team. Fast forward to my sophomore year, I came back only weighing 175 pounds. It seemed as if people didn't realize how much I was losing weight because the journey was so slow. But in reality, I was just putting pieces of the puzzle together one day at a time. The thing that stands out to me the most about the weight loss journey is the fact that that's where I fell in love with the process. That's where I planted my seed. A lot of times we're more obsessed with the reward and product of what we're chasing versus falling in love with the actual process of getting there. Most people don't pursue anything that doesn't have a guarantee behind it. I heard Andrew Johnson say that Kobe Bryant once told him, every day he was pursuing perfection and excellence, even though he knew he would probably never catch it. But just the fact he was willing to pursue it, it allowed him to dominate and always stand out from his opponents. My sophomore year, I started and had a great year. Fast forward to my junior year, I didn't see the floor at all. Even though my work ethic was the same, guys were just honestly better than me at the time. I didn't allow that to make me shut down. I worked out hard before and after the game, whether I played or not. Why? Because again, I fell in love with the process of getting better at my craft. The weight loss journey taught me patience. It taught me how to trust the process. I knew eventually, as long as I continued to get better and stay prepared, my moment would finally come. Fast forward to my senior year. I had a great junior A season, great summer and teen camp. When we returned back to school, one of my childhood friends by the name of Tyler May returned home. Tyler May was good. I mean, still to this day, Tyler May is good. So I felt like going into my senior year before he got there, I was going to be a star due to all the work that I put in. I felt like I was finally getting ready to get my award. I felt like I would get all the minutes that I wanted. Just know, nothing is ever guaranteed. Tyler was a better man for the job. The unique thing about the situation was, as bad as I wanted it to be me, it lighted a certain type of fire in me. It wasn't a fire that was filled with remorse and animosity. It made me want to outwork all my teammates, but for the most part, it made me want to cheer on my teammates as well, because I realized it was them in their city. It was their moment. Oftentimes, when things don't work out in our favor how we expect them to, we resort to the easiest thing to do, which is complain, give up, and stop showing up. But the true character and integrity of a person based on how they respond when things don't go their way. Someone who shows up and works based on their integrity, their dignity, and their love for what they do
But in reality, that's the excitement of life. Working extremely hard at something, hoping for the best. Most people need something to be said and guaranteed for them to show up, be great, and rise to the potential. Moving into my senior year, I didn't know what the next few years had in store for me. But looking back on it, I'm grateful for every experience. I ended up playing AAU as an unsigned senior, finishing my high school career with 0 offers. One of my old high school coaches told me that it would be good if I joined the Army because my chances of playing college basketball were slim to none. Nevertheless, I didn't let that affect. I put my head down and I kept working. Fast forward to 1 week before graduation, right when I thought it was all over, I get a call from a coach by the name of Keith Jennings from Leeds McCray College. He offered me a scholarship to come on a visit to Leeds McCray. I ended up signing with Leeds McCray. At that time, I felt like I had made it. I felt like all my hard work had finally paid off, not realizing the potential God had in store for me. 2 months into me being at Leeds McCray during preseason, I started to have bad chest pains and shortness of breath. After going to the doctor and doing various tests, they could never find what the problem was. That, at that moment, was when my playing career and my chance of me playing college ball came to an end. At that time, I felt worthless. I felt like I didn't really have any value. That's where I really had to tap into my roots. This is where I had to tap into the seed that I planted. As I was in Vegas training last week, a lady by the name of Miss Monica Haysville opened my eyes when she said, gardening is the best physical instruction on how to live your optimal life. You get that from reading your Bible. If you want to see how that works, gardening is the answer. It's the physical version of the Bible. I asked her, what do you mean? She said, when you manifest something in your life, in order to manifest it, you have to plant a seed and you have to sow that seed. It's amazing how it works. Rotten soil bears no fruit. Rotten soil bears no fruit. When you grow plants, in order for it to grow healthy and fresh, the soil must be pure. If the soil is spoiled, despite how much the plant grows, it will always eventually rot. Meaning, I want you to compare that soil to your character and your true core values. You have to be true within yourself in order to grow into the best version of yourself as possible. If your soil is rotten, despite the mask you wear daily, it'll eventually fade because your soul wasn't pure from the jump. Losing basketball made me revert back to the seed that I got. I always knew I was good at working out, and I always liked helping people, and I wanted to stay around the game of basketball, so I decided to become a trainer. I trained kids for free for my first year and a half training. I remember coming home from Leeds McCray embarrassed that I had to work at Marabella's as a pizza delivery guy because school didn't work out for me. But in reality, this was all part of God's plan. I started helping coach a team called Warriors Like Elite under Coach Travian Barnes. One tournament, when the head coach couldn't make it, they asked me to step up and coach the team. After that, I ended up coaching the team for the rest of the summer. We ended up winning about 4 or 5 tournaments, and I said to myself, I may be all right with this. I never imagined at 19 years old that I would coach kids 2 to 3 years younger. Once the AU season ended, I was back soul searching. I hated delivering pizzas. The money stunk, so I decided to go to construction. I knew if I wanted to be a full-time trainer, it was going to take more investment. So I packed everything that I had, and I moved to Greensboro for 4 months of construction. Although I hated it, I needed the money. I slept from couch to couch, from friends, family members, even some of my friends' college dorms. But there was a gym about 25 minutes from the job that I worked at, in a town called Brown Summit that I would sneak into day in and day out. Every day after my 12-hour shift of working from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., I would make it to the gym at 6:30 p.m. and leave the gym at 8:30 p.m. before deciding where I was going to lay my head down. At that time, it seemed like things were going downhill for me, but in reality, that was God shaping me. One night, me having to sleep in my car is a night that I really realized God was still with me at that moment. Why? Because I had so much joy in my heart. I still had that joy in my heart, knowing that I didn't know what was next for me. But at the same time, I always relied on that seed, that mustard seed that I planted. There's going to be times in your life where God tests your faith in Him the most. Right when you feel like He isn't with you no more, He shows you why He allowed you to go up that rough side of the mountain. See, in reality, when things get tough, we always say, why me? My response to adversity every time has been, why not me? I knew that the season that I was in was temporary. That's why I had so much joy in my heart. I knew it was just a stepping stone to where I was headed. Fast forward, 4 months later, I quit my construction job. Started training full-time when I started a team called Team ENC. After the summer of coaching AAU with Team ENC, I got a message from Coach Derek Butler from Pitt Community College. He offered me a spot at Pitt Community College as a student assistant for no money. I took the job, and I was grateful for the opportunity. Stay with me here because I'm here ready to show you why I said God was with me at all times. After a year at PCC, we broke school records and made it to nationals for the first time in school history. At the Nationals in Chicago, Illinois, a coach by the name of Coach Sean Walker from Elizabeth City State flew out to Nationals and offered me a job as an assistant coach at Elizabeth City State, where I will soon graduate 3 years later. Although I have faced adversity throughout my life, I had faith that better days were ahead. I always believed that it didn't rain forever. I always believed that faith without work was dead, and as long as my work backed up my faith, I would always be straight. See, during my time in Elizabeth City, when it seemed like I was at my highest point, where I felt like I had finally made it and made it out of where I was from, I witnessed a different side of adversity, which was dealing with death. This was a test that I never imagined that I would face back to back the way that I did. Losing close friends and family members to suicide, health causes, car accidents, gun violence, and drugs broke my heart in a way that I didn't think I could recover. I didn't understand what God was doing, but as I look back at it now, I see where my desire comes from. It fuels my soul knowing that my loved ones who had the world to see it didn't get a chance to see it, so why would I take life for granted? That's why I killed my procrastination spirit. That's why I killed the I'll do it later spirit. A.D. Johnson said, give everything you got to the present while you have the present. No one ever said you were promised more time, and I live by that daily. See, the thing is, I made the most growth during my time of discomfort and adversity. I learned the most about myself through the process, not when everything was working in my favor. A wise man once said, you judge the character of a person by the time of challenge and controversy, and not by the time of comfort. Meaning, it's real easy to see how a person maneuvers when everything is working in their favor. But when you hit some form of adversity, you get a test at how solid you are on your core values. When things continue to not work in my favor after I did everything right, I didn't cheat the process. It's like I constantly got a taste of working absolutely hard and still falling short. I never lost hope. I always believed in my ability to bounce back from anything that I've been through, from any adversity. And any time that I bounced back from adversity, I was more motivated than ever. With me, I always know that your moment can happen at any time. Honestly, when you least expect it. So although the plans of me not getting a chance to play college basketball didn't work, I knew that God's purpose was bigger for me. It's like, what do you do when you do everything right and you still get it wrong? Can you stay true to what you said you would do long after the mood that you had set it in has changed? Adversity causes some people to break, and it causes some people to break records. Can you be committed to the process of your gift instead of emotionally attached to the reward? If the outcome of what you're chasing changes, does that change your character? Now, right here, you guys may wonder why I have this bag, which I call a sack. I call this sack here my sack full of dreams, covered by the faithful of the mustard seed. In this sack, I feel like all my dreams are here, and this mustard seed is real small. And on this mustard seeds, I have WGMI faithful of mustard seed. And I've had this for a while. The faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains, and I'm a firm believer in that. See, here's the thing. When I first planted my seed, my soil was pure and authentic from the jump. That's why when it was time for me to go up that rough side of the mountain, I had no problem climbing it because I knew I could always fall back on my faith. Every time my trust and hope started to get weary, God showed up for me every time. Anything that I set out to do, I always did it to the best of my ability because I value anything that I'm a part of. Even if it took me sacrificing my time to get to a different point in my life, I never lost sight of my big picture. The saying, the harder you work, the harder it is to surrender is true. When you have something invested, it's hard to just give it up. It takes a certain perspective to see things on the right side of the fence. A wise man once said, perspective drives performance. How you view what you do will always affect how you do what you do. Never let experiences that you go through in life make you forget why you show up and be the best person that you each day. Be kind to others and uplift as many people as you can. Aim to pick someone up on your journey and be a blessing to someone how someone was a blessing to you on your journey. Understand that as long as you can live your life, making sure someone else's life is okay, God will always take care of you because your purpose is bigger than you. I'm thankful that we operate on external factors. I wouldn't change anything that has happened in my life because each obstacle that I face is what helped shape the man behind this suit. When I lost sight of my dreams, I always reverted back to the process in my faith. I believe in seeing something even when you can't physically see it within your reach. I want to leave you guys with this. Whatever life throws at you, always stay true to why you started. Even if the plan changes, always stay true to who you were when you first began your journey. This is the person who will rise to the top every time. My sack full of dreams is all I have. Even though I don't know what the future beholds, I know that I have the faith of the mustard seed right here. And the faith of this mustard seed will always ensure me that I'm one step closer day by day. Through whatever, always remember, we're going to make it.